Hello students, in this video I'm going to show you the knit stitch. To work the knit stitch, first you have to cast on your stitches. You can follow the knit cast on method or you can follow the long tail cast on method. If you want a stretchy edge, then it is better to follow the long tail cast on method. Now I want a very stretchy edge. That's the reason why I have gone in for the long tail cast on method. Now, according to my project, I have to cast on 15 stitches. So here are my 15 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 and 15. So according to my instructions, I have to cast on 15 stitches and I have to do the knit stitch. Now to do the knit stitch, you take your right hand needle, insert it into the first stitch and you take the yarn from the side to the center, just like how you do the cast on, knit cast on, and then you push your right hand needle with your left hand index finger and here you have the stitch on the right hand. Once you get the stitch on the right hand, you have to drop the stitch, the first stitch from your left hand. Okay, so I just do it again. I insert the needle into my second stitch, which is now the first stitch on the left hand needle. I take the yarn from the side to the center in between the needles and then I push the needle with my index finger and I get the stitch. So I have my second stitch. Once I have my second stitch here, I have to drop the second stitch from the left hand needle. Okay, I'll just do it again. Insert the needle into the third stitch. I call this the third stitch because I have already 2 stitches on my right hand needle. Okay, now when I insert the needle into the stitch, see, this is how you have to have the needles. The right hand needle goes under the left hand needle. Okay, and they are in a cross form. Take the yarn, tighten it slightly, take the yarn and take it from the right to the center, hold the yarn tight, okay, push the needle and you get a stitch and then you drop the third stitch. So I've got 3 stitches over here. Now I'll show again. Insert into the next stitch, take the yarn, tighten the yarn, take the yarn from the side to the center, pick the stitch up and then drop the stitch. So you have 4 stitches over here, which means the remaining 11 stitches will be over here. So let's see, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So basically what I'm doing is I'm transferring the stitches from the left hand needle onto my right hand. I just cannot transfer it onto my right hand. I have to knit and transfer. So I insert the needle, I take the yarn from the side to the center and I pick the stitch up and I leave the stitch. Now as you are doing this, as you are knitting, okay, your stitches from the left hand, they will tend to drop out. All what you have to do is with your index finger you have to control these stitches. Don't allow the other stitches to fall off from the needle. It is only, see, it is only the stitch in which you have worked can drop out. Okay, so you have to control these stitches with your index finger. I'll just show you again. See, I insert, I take the yarn from the side to the center, I pick the stitch up, okay, and I allow only one stitch to drop out. See, okay, I don't allow the other stitches to drop. I'll just show again. I insert the needle, cross, I take the yarn from the side to the center, I pick the stitch up and I allow only the stitch in which I have worked to drop out. Okay, so let's see how many stitches I have here. I have 2, 4, 6 and 8. Okay, the remaining stitches are over here, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So in this manner I just go on till till all the stitches from the left hand needle are transferred onto my right hand. Okay, so just a few stitches are remaining. Yeah, okay, just another 2 stitches remaining. Insert it and transfer. I have the last stitch here. I insert it, I take the yarn from the side to the center, I pick it up and I drop the last stitch. See, all the stitches from the left hand needle are transferred onto my right hand. So after this, I interchange the needles. The needle in which I have stitches will go onto my left hand and the empty needle will come onto my right hand. And then I do the same thing again. I insert, I pick this work in the first stitch, I pick the stitch up and I drop the stitch. I insert into the second stitch, I take the yarn from side to the center, I pick the stitch up and I drop the stitch in which I have worked. I don't allow the other stitches to drop out. Okay, in this manner you work. Okay, you just go on working till the desired amount of rows are worked. Suppose if your project tells you to work 5 rows, you have to work 5 rows like this. I have already worked first row, now I'm doing the second row. Okay, so see, this is how it is done. All the stitches will be transferred onto my right hand needle. Okay, all the stitches will be transferred onto my right hand needle. This is how you have to hold the stitch needle, and this is how the yarn is passed around. Okay, this is the right way of passing the yarn. See, I'm holding it. I'm holding the yarn with my fingers and my little finger there. Okay, and my little finger. So I take it and I place it like this. My right hand needle is resting on my thumb here. Okay, in between my thumb and my index finger. And this is how I do. Okay, I transferred all my stitches on the right hand needle, which means I have worked 2 rows. Okay. So you go on working till the required number of rows are worked. Only thing, take care to count the number of stitches after every row. Okay, since you are new to knitting, you have to count the number of stitches after every row. Okay, because usually beginners, they tend to drop out stitches. So if your stitches are less in number after counting, which means you have dropped a stitch, so you have to rip it out and work again. So at the end of every row, okay, you have to have the number of stitches which you have casted on. So I have, let's check if I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 and 15. So I have my 15 stitches. The effect obtained by doing knit is this is known as the garter stitch. Okay, so when you knit all the rows, you will get a garter stitch. Okay, thank you.